Welcome to BYJU'S Exam Prep. My name is Alpa Sharma and this is our daily editorial analysis. I hope I'm clearly visible and audible to everyone. Good morning. Hear and see me clearly, everyone. Morning. Clearly visible. Yes. Yeah, man. Shali. Shivam. All right, guys. So, 9th of February is today. I have taken two articles. One is from the Hindu, the other is from the as usual. But before I start off with the agenda for today's class, let's have a look at a few things. If you're targeting CLAT 22, our first crash course, no, the second batch of the crash course is up. So since the first batch is already full, the second batch is about to be full, I would expect you not to be late and rush up and enroll yourself at the earliest so that you don't miss out on the crucial time here. If you're targeting CLAT 2023, I think this is the batch 8 that we'll launch, and I'm going to be teaching in this batch as well. So if this is what your target is, which is going to be held in December, please do not be late and enroll yourself right away. If you're targeting MHCT, ALET, SLAT, BLET, JAMIA, these low entrance examinations, which are a little different from CLAT, then our batch 2 for this examination, these examinations has been launched and it's going to be very soon. So do not be late and start your classes right away. And if you don't wish to study every subject, but you wish to study only and only legal affairs and current events, then our booster batch on these two subjects, where Nivedita and Abhimanyu will be teaching you legal affairs and current events. So you start your free trial right away and do not be late. Okay. Urvashi, I'm glad to have you here. Okay. Urvashi, absolutely. बहुत बहुत जरूरी है, इसका कोई सेकंड सोल्यूशन है ही नहीं. तो आप जितने भी लोगों से पूछोगे, जितने भी टॉपर से पूछोगे, एक चीज जो उन्होंने कंसेक्यूटिवली करी थी वो था न्यूज़पेपर पढ़ना. Nobody give up on that. So I think जितना आपको जल्दी रियलाइज होगा इतना इंपॉर्टेंट न्यूज़पेपर्स पढ़ना उतना बेनिफिट आपके लिए. What are we going to do in the class today? We'll revise 3 vocabulary questions from yesterday's vocabulary through one word substitution questions. We'll take up 2 articles, do a discussion on those 2 articles. One is going to be from the editorial of Hindu, the other is from the Indian Express. But the discussion that we've been doing these days is a little twisted one. We don't usually discuss everything here. I convert the passages into reading comprehensions, and that's how we understand the editorials. That's the methodology that I have been using in the last 2-3 days. We'll take out the vocabulary from these 2 articles, we'll memorize that. In the end, you can write down the summary of each article under my video in the comment section that I'm going to check if there is no question on summary. And we will look at the tone of the author of these 2 articles. I've got one tone question today. I've got a tricky one. So, and in the end, we're going to look at today's Hindu and Indian Express and we'll see what are the remaining articles that are important that we need to study and what are the things that we can miss out on. So, that's going to be our agenda. Okay, so let's start off with the division from yesterday's class. Okay? What should the answer be for ability to work successfully? One word for that. Is it expedite, viability, deploy, or allege? What should our answer be? Okay, Purva, can I take it as a compliment? I hope it gives you some insight on मुझे ध्यान कौन सी लाइन पे देना है, कहाँ क्वेश्चन बन सकता है ना? क्या आपको ये समझ में आ रहा है ये एडिटोरियल रीडिंग कॉम्प्रिहेंशन के तरीके से पढ़ के? इसका आंसर वायबिलिटी है. यस, इसका आंसर वायबिलिटी है. थैंक यू माय चाइल्ड, थैंक यू पूर्वा. अब ये क्वेश्चन भी आंसर कर दो. While I have been solving reading comprehensions with you through editorials, क्या आपको ये समझ में आ रहा है कौन कौन सी लाइन पे मैम क्वेश्चन बनाती है, कौन सी लाइंस पे मेरे को ध्यान देना जरूरी है? क्योंकि कभी कभी सॉरी रागिनी, सॉरी. So have you guys started to understand what are the lines that can frame questions? Have you started reading the editorial like an examiner now? Okay, all right. Some of you are helped, I can see that. Okay, I'm glad. We'll keep on doing this. I'm sure it's going to aid on a lot. It certainly takes up a lot of my effort. I'll not deny that. I'm practically making a test here. I'm practically making the entire reading comprehensions. But if you are helping, I'm more than happy. Okay, ठीक है ना क्लासेस में एक वीक रेगुलर रहो आई होप आपको हेल्प होगा नेक्स्ट वन an action intended to deceive someone a trick ruse inception compliance diligence what is it चलो आलिए आज ये प्रैक्टिस करते हैं देखना मैंने क्वेश्चंस बनाए तो मैंने कौन सी लाइंस पे ध्यान दिया जहां क्वेश्चंस बने ठीक है थैंक यू साक्षी थैंक यू वैष्णवी थैंक यू बोथ द साक्षीज थैंक यू आंसर्स A? Yes, it is ruse. Yes, it is ruse. Correct. Ruse. Next one. Acts of behavior that is considered morally wrong or offensive. Condone, goad, summon, short shrift. What's it? Summoning, Shrujana. It's condone. Yes. It's condone. It is condone. Guys, you guys have a lot of questions beyond the tutorial class today, but I would expect you not to put them up right now because बच्चे क्लास बहुत लॉन्ग जाती है and by answering those questions हम थोड़ा सा डेविएट हो जाते हैं हम उसके लिए अलग से सेशंस करते हैं और इस वीक एक और करेंगे where I can address your doubts okay जो भी आपके प्रिपरेटरी स्ट्रेटजी के डाउट्स है जीके में नहीं आ रहा इंग्लिश में नहीं आ रहा उसको जो भी है I can help you yeah. First word from today's class indigenous indigenous is local originating there locally nativity of that particular area is indigenous. The indigenous tribe, हमने स्कूल में पढ़ा था, indigenous people of Siberia who have originated from Siberia, the local areas, that's indigenous, okay? Indigenous plants, indigenous food, indigenous tribes. So native or occurring in that particular area is indigenous. The next one is constraint. We don't have a lot of vocabulary today, but we've got tricky questions today. The next word is constraint. Constraint is a limitation that you put. So, or a restriction that you put. So that is a constraint. Legal constraints, that means there's a legal limitation that has been put on you. Time constraints make it impossible to do every question in CLAT. Yes? Can I say time constraint makes it impossible to look at every question? How many of you are suffering with this? You are just unable to look at every single question and then choose what to answer. How many of you are still struggling with time? Inception, indigenous का एक related word है. On its own, indigenous हो सकता है. Native, domestic, yes. Constraint could be quell, clamp down, yes, Ayushi. Curtailment, yes, Neha and Preeti. Yes, correct. Absolutely right. Kanshali, Shivam, and so many of you. Okay, I get that. Let me figure out a strategy for you guys. Idle, not doing anything, not in use. Sitting idle, you're not doing anything. Okay. Oh, this pen is kept idle, not in use. Okay, that is idle. The mill has been standing idle for 8 years, not in use. The next one, illicit. 2 words, remember. Illicit means illegal. Licit is allowed. Okay, illicit is not allowed. Then again, illicit, illicit means allow. So allow to come forward, give a reaction is elicit. When you provoke someone, evoke someone, incite someone to give an answer or a reaction is elicit. I tried to elicit a smile from Joanna, provoke a smile from her. That provoking or evoking is elicit. Remember, two words, there's a difference. Okay? Lazy, slothful, tripling, yes. Plodding, yes. Vella, ठीक है. एक better word हो सकता था. Yes. Okay. A trigger, yes, is elicit. Evoking is elicit. Stimulate is elicit. Very good. Nudging also is one. Very good. Slide number one, quickly take a screenshot. I'll move to the next slide. We've got only 2 slides today for vocabulary. Super easy vocabulary. Okay, Nandini, I'm going to do that. Tandem, two things together at the same time is tandem. Okay, two machines together, two things working together at the same time is tandem. So the Giants had the greatest pitching tandem in baseball history. So two people either running together, working together, two machinery working together. Sorry for machinery working together. Tandem. The next one, robust is very strong, healthful, easily able to deal with difficult situations is robust. The country's political system has continued to be robust in spite of its economic problems. So there were a lot of economic problems, but our political system is a strong one. It can deal with negative situations easily. It can withstand the adverse conditions, is robust. Okay, any synonyms? Yes, Joseph, it is. It is. Only related, not an exact synonym though. Remember. मैम another mocks like JMI. अभी ना बच्चे ये हम आप जब मेरे बैच में आओगे ना JMI वाले तब डिस्कस करेंगे बेटे. ओके. Vigorous for resilient. Okay. Robust. ठीक है. Determined. Stubborn तो बेटा negative connotations आता है, but robust is with a positive connotation. Remember. Okay. Firm हो सकता है robust. The next one, scout, gathering information. Usually, किसी भी तरह की information हो सकती है. So gather that is scouting for information. I returned from a lengthy scout around the area. So he was walking around the area, gathering information about the contours and the land plan. Possibly he was doing something of that sort. That is scouting for information here. Next is lineage. So lineage is like ancestry. Okay, so for example, your grandfather, your father, this is the lineage that you have. Okay, a Dutch nobleman of ancient lineage. So उसके जो forefathers थे वो बहुत ancient time से चलते आ रहे थे. Boarded the train. He boarded the train. So lineage is the ancestry that you have. Okay, pedigree भी बोल सकते हो. Okay, scout is for look out for something. Yes, correct. Yes, we've done so many words earlier. All of these, in fact. Accumulation could be scouting, yes. Quest can also be scouting. Yes, it can be forbear, forerunner, for lineage. Yes, my children, absolutely right. Okay, so slide number 2, jaldi se screenshot le lo. Only 2 slides. Now we're going to start off with the articles from today's editorials. So again, we'll use the methodology. There are some synonyms and antonyms I'll be asking you from between the articles and some questions that I've put up. Let's start off with this one. There's no question on this page right now, but then there's a question that comes up in the next one. So I'll only explain this first paragraph. You read the second paragraph on your own and answer the question that's there in the next slide. Okay. So a self-reliant pharma industry. You know, our country and our leaders who are at the center right now, they are very keen into promoting Atmanirbhar Bharat. You saw an impact of that in the budget lately. Okay. Now, where does the pharmaceutical industry lie in this Atmanirbharta? We have to understand that. So, the pharmaceutical industry is a key sector of the Atmanirbhar Bharat program. Now, he says it's a key sector. Why is this a very important sector in Atmanirbhar program? The objective of the phase 1 production linked incentive PLI scheme in this sector was to reduce import dependency. The government had launched a PLI scheme where they would incentivize production inside the boundary of our country, okay, by indigenous people or maybe by the residents of our country. And this scheme was introduced by the government in this sector to reduce our dependency on imports on active pharmaceutical ingredients. So, for example, I've got some raw material in a layman term, understand what an API is. And API is some raw material that we usually import from other countries, and then we continue with the production of the final product. So to reduce the dependency on import, this PLI was introduced by the government. And all of these are raw materials. The DIs, APIs, KSMs, all of these are raw materials. The scheme was expected to attract a lot of interest as countries had begun to adopt measures to reduce their dependency on China for APIs. Now, China is one country in the entire world जिस पे maximum और countries dependent है for sourcing APIs, and China exports APIs to, that is in a layman term, a raw material, to maximum of the countries. A lot of countries throughout the world have, they have stopped or reduced their imports from China, and they have started producing things on their own. When India started to plan this out through the PLI that is written here, its expectation was very good and the response is going to be very good from the residents of my country. However, the response to this scheme did not meet the expectations. Read the next paragraph and then I'll give you, send me a done when you're done, then I'll show you the next question. Everyone. Okay, there you go. And no, this is not the question, this is the question. ये उसी paragraph का continued line है. No beneficiary was identified in 5 of the 41 products notified for the scheme. What can be inferred from the data given? A, B, C, D, tell me what's your answer. Careful. What's your answer? Okay, Shan, C. Rebel says B. C. B. And C. Okay. B and C. अच्छा, चलो आंसर ढूंढने में हेल्प करते हैं. ठीक है, let's go back to the previous page. It said the response to the scheme did not meet the expectations. The government had an expectation that the PLI scheme will be a hit and a lot of people will respond to it and they would want to produce the APIs within the country itself, whereas the response wasn't as high as expected. This data defines the response which wasn't as high as expected. ये पूरे आत्मनिर्भर भारत प्रोग्राम का फेलियर नहीं है. जो ऑप्शन सी है वो बता रहा है दैट आत्मनिर्भर प्रोग्राम इफेक्टिव ही नहीं है. ये जो नंबर्स हैं वो सिर्फ और सिर्फ फार्मास्यूटिकल इंडस्ट्रीज के पीएलआई प्रोग्राम के रिस्पॉन्स का नंबर है. It cannot be a demarcation of the failure of the entire Atmanirbhar program. Thus, C is going to be a wrong one. The answer here would be B. The number was lesser than expected because they had expected a lot of good response, but ultimately no beneficiary was identified in 5 of the 41 products notified. So the number was extremely low. Their expectation was really high. The answer would be B. Okay, got my point? Okay, now, yes, let me explain this. So what happened later on? A recent study conducted by us on this scheme, published as a working paper on the ISID, shows that India needs a strategy. Now the author says what was lacking was the missing out of a strategy. So they had made a plan, but the strategy was missing out. Not just the scheme is necessary, a strategy is necessary to realize the objective of reducing import dependency. Our country is dependent on China and exports from the China importing into our country for the raw material. And our government has been focusing on us to be self-reliant. So there is a scheme for that. But the author says, no, this is not beneficial. This is what is needed. There are three areas where the PLI scheme requires modification. So he says, PLI scheme to aapne bana di, but then there are three pointers that need modifications. Obviously, the next few paragraphs would talk about the three areas only. Agreed, everyone? That's how you anticipate. Other complementary measures also need to be put in place for India to become self-reliant in APIs, GIs and KS. So the gist is plan तब तक अनसक्सेसफुल होगा जब तक उसकी स्ट्रैटेजी नहीं होगी. अब ऑथर बता रहा है स्ट्रैटेजी क्या हो सकती है या क्या एरियाज है जहां मॉडिफिकेशन की नीड है. ठीक है, यहां ओके. So firms will invest in production in India if they see a prospect of producing at prices cheaper than the cost of import. देखो, I am producing anything and then I am importing something. If my import cost is lesser than the production cost, why will I produce anything? Why will I produce the raw material? Why will I make the final product if the cost of importing is lesser? So one aspect would be the price of import being lower than the price of production. That's one reason why people were not as excited to get into this scheme as the government had expected them to do. As cheaper imports from China are critical for maintaining the global competence in the export formulations, investors will face an investment uncertainty in the proposed measures to not ensure the price competitiveness of the domestic production. Same line का explanation है कि प्राइस कंपेटिटिव नहीं है तो मैं प्रोड्यूस क्यों करूंगा, मैं इंपोर्ट करूंगा. सो एनी स्ट्रेटजी एम्ड एट अचीविंग सेल्फ रिलायंस should focus on achieving price competency in production. The production should be cheaper than the amount that I import. Agreed? Okay. Oh, what happened? Okay. Okay, all right. Technology plays a very crucial role. अब देखो एक पॉइंटर बता दिया prices का. Second pointer, technology plays a very crucial role in reducing import dependency as Indian producers have constraints in overcoming some of the advantage of Chinese producers. China, you know, has better technology than India. So if our technology is poor and Chinese producers have better technology, their economies of scale would increase. Economies of scale पता है ना सबको? Everyone knows that? So they need to work, our country needs to work on the technology as well. That's another aspect where we could improve according to the author. Without appropriate technology, these raw material manufacturers in India will not be in position to beat their Chinese counterparts. Synonym to counterparts. Answers, everyone. What is the synonym to counterpart? Synonyms to counterpart. Pricing, of course, depends on technology. Of course it is. That's exactly how economies of scale works. A, D, all of them. Okay, it's D, all of these. Counterparts are equivalent, peer, complement, all of these. Literally, your counterparts is working along with at the same time, okay? But here, all of these could be synonymous. All are synonymous in the pricing. So the PLI scheme doesn't have a technology component. Now, the second point, अब first point में था pricing और technology. Technology better होगी, pricing automatically आपकी reduce हो सकती है because there is economies of scale directly dependent on that. ठीक है? Second, what does he say? Okay. This scheme also insists on new manufacturing facilities which don't make business sense for firms which have idle capacity. What does he explain here? He says a lot of firms have either machinery or space or time that they can invest into production of these raw material. But despite that, these firms aren't utilizing their idle time, idle machinery, idle labor to produce these, yet they are importing it. Why are they doing it? Many firms used to produce these products have wound up production as cheaper imports began to flow from China. अगेन फैक्टर फिर से कॉस्ट का आ जाता है कि अगर मेरे पास टाइम है, लेबर है, मशीनरी है, कैपिटल है, सब कुछ है, तो भी मैं इंपोर्ट करूंगा क्योंकि मेरा इंपोर्ट का कॉस्ट इज चीपर देन अल्टीमेट कॉस्ट ऑफ प्रोडक्शन इन माय ओन कैपेसिटी. So this is the second point according to the author. Permission to utilize existing but inoperational or underutilized facilities for production would have elicited a better response. तो अगर परमिशन मिल जाती उनको, अगर उनको एड किया जाता तो वो अपने ही कंट्री में प्रोड्यूस करते, वो इंपोर्ट नहीं करते. दैट्स द सेकंड पॉइंट. थर्ड पॉइंट, आई विल नॉट एक्सप्लेन द थर्ड पॉइंट. डोंट मार्क द सिनोनिम, मार्क दिस क्वेश्चन राइट नाउ. Read the third point and mark the answer of this question that's highlighted, this one. Okay. D, D. Okay. A. बच्चे, you know what you guys are doing? Not reading this. प्लीज पढ़ लो क्वेश्चन क्या पूछ रहा है. इट कैन नॉट बी अ रीजन. Why doesn't anybody want to be a beneficiary? Because they're happy with the imports. Yes. Now, why would they happy with the imports? They would be happy with the imports because they have cheap imports. Yes. So they would not produce it in the country. Poor legislations है. Legislations की बात करिए क्या पैसेज में, ये बताओ मुझे. क्या पैसेज में legislations की बात हुई है? नहीं हुई ना. आंसर तो बी होना चाहिए. रिमेंबर द 3 पॉइंटर्स. उसने क्या दिया, ये प्लान क्यों फेल हुआ? इन 3 पॉइंटर्स की वजह से. आपका आंसर इन्हीं तीनों पॉइंटर्स में है लिखा हुआ. क्या है आंसर? इंपोर्ट्स चीप था, बिल्कुल, इसलिए वो लोगों ने अपने कंट्री में प्रोड्यूस नहीं किया. तो लास्ट पैराग्राफ किसकी बात कर रहा है? थर्ड पॉइंटर क्या था? सेकंड पॉइंट, फर्स्ट पॉइंटर में टेक्नोलॉजी भी था. यस. तो साइंटिफिक नॉलेज भी आ जाता है, वो इसमें भी लिखा हुआ है, साइंस और टेक्नोलॉजी. तो सी भी करेक्टली लिखा हुआ है, ए भी करेक्टली लिखा हुआ है. पुअर लेजिस्लेशन और ईज ऑफ ट्रेड विद चाइना में से अगर मुझे एक चीज चूज करनी है, एनओटीए तो ऑटोमेटिकली एलिमिनेट हो जाता है. बी और डी में से आप क्या चूज करोगे? तो third pointer says the history of development of the indigenous pharmaceutical industry in India shows significance of an industry policy. ये पॉलिसी क्या है? ये क्या है पॉलिसी? कौन बनाता है ये पॉलिसी? रूल्स एंड रेगुलेशंस ही तो होते हैं पॉलिसीज में. तो क्या मैं उससे उन लेजिस्लेशंस को इन्फर कर सकती हूँ? यस और नो? टेल मी. क्या मैं पुअर लेजिस्लेशंस को इन्फर कर सकती हूँ? NOTA means none of the above. Yes, I can. B is one of the reasons mentioned in point number 3. The answer is D. The answer would be D. क्योंकि ये जो पॉलिसीज है उन्हीं को लेजिस्लेशंस बनाया है. लेजिस्लेशन का मतलब जरूरी नहीं कि एक लीगल प्रोसीडिंग हो आपके कोर्ट के अंदर. ये पॉलिसीज ही लेजिस्लेशंस हैं. जहां वो पॉलिसी सही नहीं है, ये पीएलआई स्कीम है वो सही नहीं है, Thus, its ease of trade with China. चाइना से इंपोर्ट करना कितना आसान है या कितना डिफिकल्ट है. Author hasn't commented on that. He hasn't at all. So, with that, D is not one of the reasons for the less number of beneficiaries in the passage. Okay? Yes. Point number 2 बच्चे सिर्फ इतना बोल रहा है कि मेरे पास खाली टाइम है, मैं कुछ नहीं कर रही. तो क्या मैं रॉ प्रोडक्ट्स मैन्युफैक्चर करना स्टार्ट कर दूं? नहीं, मैं क्यों करूंगी? अगर मुझे इंपोर्ट सस्ता पड़ रहा है तो चाहे मेरे पास खाली टाइम है मैं तो भी इंपोर्ट करूंगी। दैट्स द सेकंड पॉइंट। अब मुझे जल्दी से सिनोनिम बता दो। The PLI scheme remains a standalone measure. It is not connected to other policy measures. तो अकेला measure हो गया है PLI scheme. Since it is alone as a policy, not in accordance with the remaining policy measures, the legislations are poor here. So, what is the synonym to standalone? Repulsive? No, no, my child. Repulsive is okay. मुझे अच्छा नहीं लग रहा है. Move away from that. That is repulsive. The answer is C here. It is C. Yes. Autonomous. Okay. Independent is और सेल्फ गवर्निंग स्टैंडअलोन वो इंडिपेंडेंट है PLI स्कीम और किसी के रिलेशनशिप में नहीं है. ओके, नेक्स्ट वन. अब इस पूरे पैराग्राफ से वी हैव टू इन्फर वी हैव टू से व्हाट कैन नॉट बी इन्फर्ड. आई विल नॉट एक्सप्लेन दिस पैराग्राफ. खुद पढ़ो. टेल मी व्हाट कैन नॉट बी इन्फर्ड. लेट्स सी इफ यू कैन डू दिस. Otherwise, I'll ultimately explain this to you. Maybe trade with China is not easy. Then how imports are? Of course, yes. But Muskan, ऑथर ने ना इस चीज पे पॉइंट आउट नहीं किया. ऑथर के अकॉर्डिंग ये प्रॉब्लम नहीं है. ये 3 प्रॉब्लम्स लिखे हुए. तो आई हैव टू फाइंड बाय द 3 प्रॉब्लम्स ओनली. कितना इजी है ट्रेड करना? हो सकता है मुस्कान चाइना से ज्यादा इजी ट्रेड करना बांग्लादेश के साथ है. तो क्या मैं बांग्लादेश से इंपोर्ट कर रही हूँ? नहीं कर रही हूँ ना. दैट्स व्हाई. रीड दिस एवरीवन एंड सेंड मी अ डन व्हेन यू आर डन. What cannot be inferred? Okay. A, D, all right. C, okay. Confusion. A, C, D. So let me explain this paragraph to you. ठीक है, फिर देखते हैं आंसर क्या है. आप में भी आंसर बता दो बच्चे. A, D, C. ओके, चलो. और B भी आ गया आंसर. चारों ऑप्शन है. अब देखो उसी प्रॉब्लम को कंटिन्यू कर रहा है. ये जो स्कीम निकाली थी गवर्नमेंट ने इसकी. नियरली 3/4 ऑफ द प्रोडक्शन ऑफ फार्मास्यूटिकल्स इन इंडिया इज बाय MSMEs. तो जो भी लिमिटेड प्रोडक्शन हमारे पास होता है फार्मास्यूटिकल का, उसमें से 3/4 हम मीडियम एंड स्मॉल मीडियम एंटरप्राइजेस करते हैं. हिस्टोरिकली लार्ज प्राइवेट सेक्टर फर्म्स हैव बीन इंटरेस्टेड इन फॉर्मुलेशन. वो बोलते हैं हम फॉर्मुलेशन बना लेंगे, हम मिक्सचर बना लेंगे और हम मेडिसिन बना लेंगे, लेकिन हम ये API रॉ मटेरियल नहीं बनाएंगे. अब अगर कहीं पे एक लार्ज प्राइवेट सेक्टर का इन्वॉल्वमेंट नहीं होगा, सिर्फ स्मॉल का होगा, वो इकोनॉमी एक्सपोनेंशियली इंक्रीज नहीं हो पाएगी. अग्रीड? सिर्फ छोटे छोटे लोग यूनिट अगर प्रोडक्शन कर रहे हैं, they will not be able to exponentially impact the economy based on pharmaceuticals. Large private sector firms need to invest into this sector to make it a better one. But they say we are not interested in the production of APIs, the raw material. Why? As APIs are sold with their chemical names without any branding. जब कोई branding नहीं होता है, तो branding का पैसा उनको मिलेगा नहीं. And branding is the only thing that will bring them profits. Only selling these chemicals with the chemical names, these composition, these raw materials with the chemical names, तो उसका तो तुम 10 रुपए का 11 चार्ज कर लोगे, बस 20 नहीं चार्ज कर पाओगे. लेकिन जब ब्रांडिंग हो जाती है तो जेनेरिक दवाइयां जो 10 की 200 में भी बिक सकती हैं, वो सिर्फ ब्रांडिंग का खेल है. वो लार्ज फर्म्स करती हैं. अब वो बोलते हैं जब ब्रांडिंग में बिक ही नहीं रहा रॉ मटेरियल, व्हाई शुड आई इन्वेस्ट इनटू ब्रांडिंग? ओके, सो दे हैव नो इंटरेस्ट इन द प्रोडक्शन. द प्रोडक्शन ऑफ APIs by large firms, if at all, is largely for captive consumption. सिर्फ अपने कंजम्पशन के लिए वो करते हैं कि मुझे पैरासिटामोल बनानी है, मुझे कैलपॉल बनानी, मुझे डोलो 650 बनानी है, तो मैं पैरासिटामोल मेरे खुद के लिए बना लूंगा और डोलो 650 बना लूंगा। तो वो अपने प्रोडक्शन के लिए करते हैं, सेलिंग के लिए नहीं करते हैं। द फोकस ऑफ PLI phase 1 scheme, however, is on large firms. Now, when this scheme focuses on large firms and no large firm is ready to produce APIs, there's a gap between the focus and the response people give. The data we obtained from 13 of the beneficiary firms shows that all of them are large firms, जो 13 सिलेक्ट किए थे, लेकिन वो लार्ज फर्म्स थे पुरानी MSME के डेफिनेशन के अकॉर्डिंग। जो नई डेफिनेशन आई MSME की, उसके अकॉर्डिंग सिर्फ और सिर्फ एक ही था लार्ज फर्म out of the 13 who were approved as beneficiaries of this scheme. So, it seems like policymakers are interested in taking advantage of efficiencies associated with the scale of operations by encouraging large firms. Yes, the government wants large firms to come in, but it is equally important to include smaller firms which are into these business in a major way. A government has misused the definition of MSME. MSME को मिसयूज नहीं किया, एक पुरानी डेफिनेशन थी जिसके डेफिनेशन के हिसाब से all 13 were large firms. अब डेफिनेशन चेंज हो गई ओवर द पीरियड, उस डेफिनेशन चेंज की वजह से सिर्फ एक ही लार्ज फर्म बचता है, तो गवर्नमेंट ने उसको मिसयूज तो नहीं किया, ऑल्टर तो नहीं किया, तो ए कैन नॉट बी इन्फर्ड। हो सकता है यस, ए कैन नॉट बी इन्फर्ड, द गवर्नमेंट hasn't misused the MSME. Big firms do not find APIs profitable. This can be inferred. Yes, they do not find APIs profitable because there is no branding. B can be inferred. C, the government scheme focuses on large firms from producing ingredients. Yes, the government certainly focuses on large firms, but the response from the large firms is low. D, only one of the beneficiaries is a large firm. Yes, only one is a large firm according to this definition. Only the current definition, only one is the large firm. The answer becomes A, everybody. Yes, understood? Okay, let's move to the next page, the last page. समझाती हूँ, फिर टोन आप एंड में खुद बताएंगे. In spite of the 2 rounds of application, no beneficiary was identified in 5 products. Identified ticks में कोई भी नहीं आया. This may be one of the reasons for the lack of enthusiasm by the industry. So basically वो कह रहे हैं कि multiple reasons है कि इंडस्ट्री क्यों enthusiastic नहीं about this scheme. However, we should note that such APIs may be of great significance for public health. Of course, these APIs will bring tremendous changes for public health, economy, many things. In such cases, public sector enterprises should be tasked with the production of APIs. कि अगर प्राइवेट सेक्टर नहीं आ रहा तो पब्लिक सेक्टर ही कर लेंगे API प्रोड्यूस, इंपोर्ट क्यों करना है, आत्मनिर्भर होना है ना. And their KSMs and DIs. The lead role that the PSCs has played in the development of an indigenous pharmaceutical industry in India can never be forgotten. Answer out of the options for the tone, everyone. Tone. What's the tone out of the options? Priyanka says D. Okay. C, D, A. एक साल से टोन करा रही हूं मैं आप सबको, एक साल से. ये गलत नहीं होना चाहिए आज. The answer is objective. How? ये ऑब्जेक्टिव कैसे हो गया मैम? आई एम सो गुड विथ टोन्स. मैंने ये कैसे गलत कर दिया? कैसे गलत कर दिया सोचो. ऑब्जेक्टिव है बच्चे. कैसे? थिंक. Of course, the options are confusing. I have deliberately made them confusing. The answer is objective. Now understand. I'm going to ask you a few questions, okay? और आप उन questions को answer करना अपने mind में. 1. Why has the whole passage been written? Is it written to only give you a suggestion? No. Is it written to criticize the scheme? No. The author has written the passage in a manner where he has an objective in his mind. The objective is to evaluate the existing scheme and with that evaluation tell you what might go wrong. क्या गलत हो सकता है, क्या सही हो सकता है. पॉइंट नंबर 1, 2, 3, 4. ऑब्जेक्टिव होता है ना तुम्हारा क्लैट का पेपर, ABCD ऐसे ही तो आता है. ऑब्जेक्टिव इज with an aim to explain the problems with the sector, with an aim to find a solution. So the answer is going to be objective here. I hope everyone understood it. Okay? ठीक है, चलिए आगे बढ़ते हैं नेक्स्ट पैसेज में. क्या? ओके, तो वेस्ट इंडीज ने अंडर 19 का विन, ब्रिलियंट परफॉर्मेंस, वेरी गुड, वी आर रियली हैप्पी. The future of Indian cricket is not just glowing, it is sparkling. We know Indian cricket is going to be even better. The reclaiming of the under 19 crown in West Indies illustrated not just the country's depth of talent, that is, we have a lot of talent in cricket, but it also showed us a streak of ruthlessness that made the game a cut above the rest. यहाँ ruthlessness क्या है गेम में, ये समझाओ मुझे. गेम अच्छा है, क्रिकेट का गेम है. What is ruthlessness here? Why can option D in previous question, isn't it straightforward instead of inferred? It is straightforward, but then बाकी चीजें भी तो एलिमिनेट नहीं कर सकते ना. तो अली ऐसे बोल देते हो कि मेरी क्वेश्चन मेकिंग स्किल थोड़ी पुअर है कि मैं उसको ट्विस्ट नहीं कर पाई, बट चारों में से तो बेस्ट वही होगा ना. उसमें रूथलेस क्या है? टेल मी, व्हाट इज रूथलेस हियर? Tediousness? No. No. What was ruthlessness in the game, everyone? What was it? जल्दी बताओ. मैम एक रिप्लाई कर दो, कब से हिंदू एडिटोरियल स्टार्ट करें प्लीज. वर्ल्ड गेमिंग, इफ यू टारगेटिंग 22, आपको लास्ट जून से एडिटोरियल्स पढ़ने चाहिए थे. गाइस आप लोग बहुत अननेसेसरी चैट्स कर रहे हो. आई एम अनेबल टू लुक एट द इंपॉर्टेंट चैट्स. कैन वी प्लीज नॉट डू इट? So it says, I'll explain this passage. It says the reclaiming of the under 19 crown in the West Indies illustrated not just the country's depth of talent, but also a streak of ruthlessness that made the game a cut above the rest. Not caring about anything, just win. That was the ruthlessness here. They looked skilled and adequate, operating in a league above their competitors. वो बहुत strong opponents के साथ खेल रहे थे, but they were skilled and they were adequate. Most of them hadn't played any serious cricket in the last 2 years because of the pandemic. Yes, and most of them had barely traveled outside, again because of the pandemic. Despite that, अगर वो ऐसी performance दिखाते हैं, so it's not just glowing, it is sparkling. At the start of the group stage, a clutch of important players tested positive for COVID-19. Synonym to a clutch. Grip, lead, extension, important. Answers. Unstoppable, yes. What's our answer here? Grip, lead, extension, or impotent? It has to be A. Yes, it has to be A. Aggressiveness in the game. Exactly, Sagnik. You're right. Correct. So the answer for clutch is grip. And a lot of players had fallen into the grip of COVID. They were tested positive, so they could not practice a lot as well. Yet, no moment during the tournament did they panic. They were calm. They were cool. India's dominance of junior cricket. They have won 4 of the 8 last editions. Brilliant. And उसमें से भी 2 finals में आके हारी. So the performance hasn't been bad with the junior cricket. Also, the robust structure that ensures no good talented youngster slips through the system. हमारे country में जो structure है about youngsters playing cricket, it's so robust that not even a single child who is worthy of it can go unnoticed. You know that for sure. That a Sheikh Rashid from Guntur, whose father did odd jobs to sustain his son's dreams, could assess quality coaching demonstrations, how efficient the structure is, and how extensive the scouting system. So, ऐसे simple से person कि बच्चे का भी career बना under 19 में. We know the system is strong enough. There is obviously eye-popping talent too. Left arms, so basically देखो उन्होंने examples दिया है. ऐसे लोगों का जो कि बहुत ही अच्छा गेम खेले. Okay, now Dinesh Bana's wicket keeping in purists is purist's joy. What does this line mean? Purist's joy. Who's going to explain this line to me? What's purist's joy? Who is the purist? What's a purist's joy? What does this word mean? Don't tell me the answer. What is the purest joy? Who is a purist? I'm not asking you for the synonym to purist. Please listen to what I'm saying. I'm not asking you. It's not pure joy. It is not audience joy. A purist is the one who abides by traditional rules, traditional style. Dinesh Bana's wicket-keeping style is a traditional one. And to look at him, wicket-keeping is a joy to a purist. A basic, exactly. So, anybody who is a purist, he would look at the immaculate performance of Dinesh Bana at his wicket-keeping. That is a purist's joy. Rashid's composure under duress, resonance, tidy, pressure, unearthed. The answer is pressure. You had already answered. It was supreme, left arm spinner, and these are again some appreciation for people. Tracking them, not just these names, but the whole team could be a rewarding experience. After all, it's the ICC World Cups that the best of talent have announced their arrival. The lineage is rich. We saw Yuvraj Singh, Mohammad Khair, Virat Kohli, Jadeja, and a few more who blossomed through the under 19 to the ICC World Cups. We saw them. But there are those who have fallen by the side, offering a cautionary tale that the under 19 World Cup wins doesn't necessarily guarantee fruitful careers. We saw many people performing very good in under 19. We never saw them playing for the other team. Among 178 cricketers who have played junior World Cups in India, only 51 have gone to play international cricket. इसका मतलब ये जो अच्छी चीज है वो इतनी अच्छी नहीं जितनी दिख रही है कि सब इंटरनेशनल क्रिकेट खेल लेंगे. Okay, tone of the author, everyone. What's the tone? Second article was more a very factual article. उस पे questions बनते हैं जो factual बनते हैं. So I thought of not making factual questions क्योंकि वो तो आप anyway refer back करके answer कर लोगे. ठीक है? So उसमें जो दो words important थे like purist's joy and the other word, that's what I paid attention to. Tell me the tone of this passage before I show you the articles from today's newspapers. Okay, so Ragini, the last paragraph basically says that it's good. We see a lot of people coming out from the under 19 team playing into international World Cups, but the picture is not as beautiful because only and only 51 players of the under 19 have ever made it to international cricket. So these names are good. We can see a lot of new names coming up from the under 19 playing for the international, but not everyone can make it. It's not as beautiful as it seems. Tone of the author. Laudatory, yes, it is laudatory. Appreciative, with the last paragraph coming as an analysis only, not a criticism, an analysis, but mostly it is laudatory or glorifying. It is okay. Now let me share today's Hindu and Indian Express. I hope you guys are having fun with the new methodology. Keep saying that so that I keep working harder. It takes me a lot of effort to make the classes like this. I'm sharing today's Hindu and Indian Express. Please share my video right away because if you think I'm doing a good job, I need that appreciation. Okay? Please share the video right away. Sharing today's Hindu and Indian Express, and let's see what are the important articles we need to read. By the way, on 12:30 at the BBA platform, I'll be taking passage-based inference questions today. So if you don't understand them, make sure you come to my class. Okay? Okay. Let's look at today's papers. Let's see what's important. तो स्किम कर लेना, ठीक है? डिटेल में नहीं पढ़ना है, जस्ट स्किम इट. ये बिल्कुल पढ़ना है आपको. ओके? इंपॉर्टेंट है. अगेन इसको भी स्किम करना है. नीट एग्जामिनेशन बिल है, स्किम कर लेना इसको. I think I will take this article tomorrow. I'll explain what's happening around. Okay? Yes, today 12:30. 12:30 on the BBA YouTube channel of BYJU'S Exam Prep. I'm taking inference questions passage based. Okay? Ma'am, I'm doing the Hindu editorial class from the last 2 days and I'm improving extremely. Thank you, Sagne. Thank you, my child. Set up agri speeding boost farm incomes scheme. बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है, बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है. प्लीज इसको पढ़ लेना. ओके? ये भी बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है. ठीक है? ये भी पढ़ लेना डिटेल में. नेक्स्ट हम कॉन्टेक्स्ट देखते हैं. अगर आपको नहीं पता है तो पढ़ लेना, और पता है तो सिर्फ स्किम कर सकते हो. स्किम आज कुछ बहुत ज्यादा इंपॉर्टेंट नहीं है. कल ऐसा लग रहा है मुझे एक एऑन आर्टिकल ले आते हैं क्वेश्चंस बना के. व्हाट डू यू से अबाउट दैट? शुड आई डू दैट? ये तो अलग ही उस पे जा रहा है, टेंजेंट पे. भाई कैसी कैसी न्यूज आ रही है इसके रिलेटेड. स्किम. ओह माय गॉड. प्लीज रीड दिस. ओके? प्लीज रीड दिस. लेट्स कम टू. ओ भाई देखो, सुरजीत सर एड में आ गए आज तो. Look at the opinion page. सब जगह शुरुजीत सर हो रहे हैं. Page number 1. Listening to Lata Mangeshkar in Lahore. Skim. Why opinion polls need regulation? Yes, read that. What arguments in marital rape case reveal about insecurity of patriarchy? हम डिस्कस कर चुके हैं ये अभी 2 दिन पहले. इसको स्किम करना आपको. ठीक है? और बजट 22 बैड इकोनॉमीज नहीं स्किम करना. अब बजट हो गया खत्म. The budget aims to create jobs and growth. Skim. Praveen Kumar Sopti's athletic brilliance was overshadowed by the character he played. Yes, ये पढ़ लेना. Threat of cancelling accreditation intrudes the rights of press free. Yes, बिल्कुल ये पढ़ना आपको. ये बहुत important है. PM speech in Parliament betrayed. That's all from today. Okay, guys. Now that is all from today's editorials. And thank you, Anna. अच्छा है ना तान्या. I'll see you guys at 12:30. Bye everyone. Have a very good day.